Welcome everyone to the Goddess Temple. My name is Chris, and for today's video, what I have coming through is I just want to speak about integrity and why integrity. So there's so much that's happening, so much that's fed to us, so much that's unraveling, right? The places that we've been complacent and just let things kind of slide just because it doesn't seem like it directly impacts us. So just letting things slide, just brushing things under the table, and like not actually standing up for the self, standing up for someone else that's going through that's being hurt, that's being abused, that's being dismantled. Not necessarily dismantled, but like broken down, right? Broken down severely to the point that it's it impacts the way that person navigates through this world. Now, this gets a little bit tricky because, especially if you've experienced abuse growing up, sorry if this is, just be aware that I am going to be diving into this topic a little bit more around abuse. And so if this is something that you're actively still going through, or you're, that you may end up getting triggered, please do, step out. Don't continue watching this video. I don't want to get into it, and it is important for you to take care of your health and your well-being, and so that also includes listening to this video. And thing is, I am not coming from a place of from a psychological perspective. I'm not a physician in any way. I'm not a therapist. So I am looking at it from a lens of spirituality, of psychic, emotional health. So that's a complete different ball game, and it's a different playing field. So please, for your own sake, just be a little bit discerning of if this is a video for you or not. So I'm just gonna continue a little bit more down this path. The thing is, with understanding a little bit of the abuse that you may have gone through, the challenges that you may have gone through, leaning into where and how life has made you complicit. And the thing is, at some point in your life, it did serve you to be quiet. And just because you're quiet, it doesn't make you only complicit. But there's ways, and is it complicit or complacent? I don't remember. So I'm gonna just keep going. But the thing is, noticing where you fall on that spectrum and the role that you've played, and noticing the way that you showed up, it teaches you how to shift the way that you show up currently, right now, and for you to do things differently. And it's not just that you need to always be loud and always need to speak up, and you go hunting for anything and everything so you can be the voice for people. The thing with that, I'm not saying don't go for it. I know I just said that and I contradicted myself a little bit there. So I'm not necessarily saying not to go for it. Lean into that. If it's something that motivates you, lean into it. but actually have the courage to dive into those little depths and to learn different skills. So, what are other tools that you can learn? How do you learn to communicate better, more effectively? Are there tools that you can provide for people that don't have the capacity and that are not at the place where they can speak? What can you offer them? What are tools that you can give to them? What are ways that you can support them? What are ways that can you provide a space, an environment so the person can move and process through the emotions and provide them a safe enough space just to heal, just to go through their emotions and be able to listen, right? Hold space enough to listen to what that person is saying, to not try to get your point across and saying how to move through it already. And like the wisdom and knowledge is one. The theory, the theoretical of it is one thing, but during that moment that that person is going through, in what way can you so what can you embody for them to practice it, for them to practice what it is that you're teaching them? Because at the end of the day, you're teaching them how to not just understand why you do what you do, but you're also teaching them how to settle into their body, how to heal, how to notice when something is wrong, and how to speak up, how to stand up for the self, how to face the fears, how to face the bully, how to face the challenges, how to not crumble, and how to strengthen the nervous system, right? So there's these depths that you go through, that you lean into and you play with, and it becomes more, what you're offering becomes more, what is it? More sustainable when you have the resources. And also then you begin to notice that what's your strength, right? What are you really good at? Are you good at holding space for someone, or are you good at talking to people and so having your own network and having a full set of resources available, people, practices, books, information, knowledge, wisdom. And so, how do you distribute it? How can you educate and how can you show up for someone so they can go through the motion that they need to go through, so they can get the help that they need to get? What are the skills and the abilities that you currently possess for you to support someone moving through this place, moving through this challenge? And how does this tap into integrity? It taps into integrity because you as a human, so being integral is the way that you act is the same as, it's in congruence with the words that you're speaking about, that you're speaking of. And for you to lean into that and to be in alignment with it, so for you to practice what you're preaching, right? That level of authenticity, it is necessary now. Anything other than, we call people out on it. We're not tolerating it anymore. On a global scale, on a collective scale, we are not tolerating that anymore. It's become important to articulate what works, what doesn't, how to show up better for our people, for our families, how to not try to save someone, but give them support and resources so they can do the growing and the processing as needed. That's important. And it's leaning into this space that you begin to understand what you're good at, and you're learning this. So you can have the motivation to be in integrity, to help and support someone. But eventually you'll start leaning into what's your strength, what are you good at, and what is effortless for you, and to leverage that. But then you also begin to notice that for this mission, this goal that you may have to support, help, heal people that are going through a certain specific situation, that you might need actually a team, that you might need other people that are also there doing it. And so I'm going to bring it back to integrity here. So with integrity, it's you're learning about the way that you've been speaking, and you're learning more and more of how you can support, how you can, what's the intention that you're coming in with? Are you coming in with the savior complex? Or are you actually coming in with a sense of, you know what, this is genuinely my path to be, that I can take myself out of it and genuinely show up authentically? And so that becomes the integrity. And it's not only holding someone else accountable, but it's also holding yourself accountable. From time to time, you are going to have to reflect, self-reflect, and see where you have been coming in with ego, with distortion, with a sense of things need to be done this way, and if they're not done this way, then it's not being done right at all. That type of attitude is being asked to change. And the one thing is, when you're shifting through all of this, you're starting to notice there's little places in your past that you have done and acted on that just didn't align, and that you wished that you had done things differently then, that you wish that you had had the strength to speak up then. And that may have been why you do the work that you're currently doing, why you're so motivated and driven to change, for change. And so leaning into yourself and noticing that, noticing the way that you feel, noticing the way that life has moved you, and that you get to finally start letting go of what you wish that you had the opportunity to change, that you wish that you were able to rewrite that same story, but write it differently, express it differently. That wish, that motivation, that depth, that evolution, if anything, all of you is changing, is growing, is evolving. You're learning about who you are here to be in this lifetime, and how you are here to excel and come back into alignment. So integrity is an aligned way of acting, right? An aligned action of word to action. That there's, and that's, it's not that it's absolutely necessary to always point out. At the same time, it is necessary to become aware. And with that awareness, you begin to shift. The thing is, on a global scale, we are also understanding that the way that we've been operating, it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay to be quiet and to say, oh, this was your fault. But also holding ourselves accountable for not speaking up, for not being louder than the loudest voice, right? So to not submit to the person gaslighting, or the system gaslighting a situation, and to be more discerning of what's actually presenting itself, of the story of you being the one to judge the story rather than someone telling you that, hey, this is the story. For you to practice that sense of judgment within yourself and to be discerning and to understand truth that goes beyond the logical mind. Anyone and everyone can be witty with their words. Anyone and everyone can be charismatic. However, what someone comes in with as truth to them, it may not be true for you. And eventually we will learn how to coexist with different ideas and without having to dismantle someone just because it dismantles and disproves your perspective and understanding. Eventually we will as a collective, as a society, understand how to navigate through that and live in a different world. And so it's important to practice the little bits of whatever is possible right now and to kind of start to build a little bit of those systems currently. And eventually when time comes, it just is the way that we operate, period. There is no interruption of it. There's no analysis to it. It just was the change because we as a collective started practicing what we wanted to see and how we want to navigate through this world, the way that we want to be governed. And it's not just external governance, a collective governance, but it's also an internal self-governance. So really learning how to govern yourself to live, to be, to express and create in integrity. You're going to be learning more and more of how you best navigate through this world in a way that it not only builds and grows you, but it expands you in ways that you didn't know that was possible. So I'm kind of losing a little bit of momentum here. Just on an internal level. I am going to be leaving the message here. All right. I hope that this gave you a little bit of insight into what and how you can move in a little bit more of integrity with yourself in the moment. Just a little inspiration. So yes, with that little bit, I'm going to be leaving the message here. I wish you guys all the best, and I will speak to you soon.